to two of Stanford University's public administration class. And I hope you like my temporary background because I'm not currently recording this video in a law library, but rather in a rather dank, dark basement. So anyway, this week we're going to be covering the wonderful world of government bureaucracy and the legal sources that empower the various political branches of government to create that bureaucracy and exercise power to get things done in an efficient, effective, and representative manner. So while bureaucracy is something that has existed for millennia, the current modern bureaucratic tradition of the Western world was initially framed and understood by German sociologist named Maximilian, or just Max Weber. So Max Weber was born in Prussia and was a young man when Kaiser Wilhelm I and Chancellor Otto von Bismarck led efforts to unify Germany. And his father was a fairly prominent politician, so Max Weber went into the legal profession himself. And the long and the short of it is that he was very fascinated by the structure of the military and its hierarchy. And also, as a side note, he did serve in the army during the First World War. But the long and the short of that is that his examination of power and ethics, and sprinkling in a little bit of interpretative research methods and things like that, it kind of became the basis for his arguments in favor of systematizing bureaucracy. It also led him to being very instrumental in drafting the Constitution of the Weimar Republic following the war. So that's another interesting element. Anyway, it's this understanding of bureaucracy that has influenced the bureaucracies of many other modern nation states. And the structure of the executive bureaucracy in the post-war and present-day United States is also largely influenced by Weber's work. Not only that, but Weber's life is definitely interesting, maybe a little bit disturbing and a bit, risque. So feel free to do a little more research on this man, who alongside Emile Durkheim and Karl Marx is considered one of the central figures in the development of sociology and the social sciences in general. Of course, no understanding of American bureaucracy would be complete without examining the Constitution of the United States, which was written in 1787, ratified by the original U.S. colonies in 1788, and been in effect since 1789. So the United States Constitution is now the longest surviving written charter of government. So it spells out the three branches of the United States government: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial, and the powers they possess and limitations that are placed on them. Furthermore, it's been proven to be very capable of meeting the changing needs of a modern society, as it has been amended 27 times, including the most recent amendment in 1992. And of course, the first 10 of those amendments are the Bill of Rights, which guarantees the citizenry certain protections against government power, and the protection of inalienable rights to things like free speech, religion, a free press, and the right to bear arms to maintain the free state. Okay? Now, the bureaucracy of the United States, as it had existed prior to Max Weber's influence, is also strongly alluded to in the preamble to the Constitution. Okay? And that reads, we the people of the United States, that, implies that government is intended to be by the people and for the people rather than just the elite in power. So we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, acknowledging that a perfect form of government is not possible, and echoing the sentiment that James Madison put forward in Federalist Paper number 51, that if men were angels, government would not be necessary. So in order to do that, the United States establishes justice, which includes, its laws and things like that, ensures domestic tranquility, includes the national security apparatus like the police, and the court system can be part of that as well. Providing for the common defense, and that, of course, is the power to declare war, raise armies, a navy, etc., against any threats to the stability of the United States, coming from both foreign and domestic sources. Promoting the general welfare, which is the basis of most bureaucratic programs intended to protect the happiness, prosperity, and well-being of the nation, like education, commerce, agriculture, energy, housing, economic development, public health, transportation, labor, and others. You'll see that the various departments under the executive branch of government have names like those things that I just listed. Next up, we have secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. So the goal wasn't, a short-term thing, but, tried to preserve this system of government for future generations. And it ends with do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America, basically making it official. Now, of course, the United States Constitution is by no means a completely novel idea, mind you, right? And you'll see in completing the week's coursework that it is very heavily inspired by the charters and the constitutions of the Athenian Republic and the Roman Republic. Now, if you know anything about the Roman Republic, it ended with Julius Caesar declaring himself Caesar, or the emperor of the Roman Empire. And examination of those realities will help to kind of understand what the U.S. was going for in establishing the document as the law of the land, and why it chose to incorporate systems of checks and balances and limit political power the way that it has. So again, it's now been successful for about 200. The United States government has been successful for about 250 government, and about 230 of those years has been under this United States Constitution. And again, as far as contiguous forms of government that have been in place, the U.S. Constitution is the longest running current document that has allowed a system of government to be the way that it is. So again, this week is about looking at why it has been so successful. You can definitely make direct comparisons to the Constitution of the Weimar Republic and why that didn't do so well. And you can always look into the history of the Athenian and the Roman republics to understand, again, why did the founding fathers of the United States decide to incorporate some changes to those original documents and ways of systematizing and organizing government to, ensure this long-lasting representative democracy that we see here in the United States. And that's not to say that there haven't been threats to that democracy, in the past and arguably in the present day as well. So good luck with the rest of the week. I look forward to seeing the discussion postings and seeing the responses to the written assignment that are going to be due this week.